Timothy Swann, he'll break your arm, with his bloody great wings.
That's right, it's old Swanee River. According to Wikipedia, that makes me a wild blackwater river, a river that is stained by vegetation and darkened by tannins in the same manner as tea. Back after a little while to talk to you about webcomics. Clearly, getting a lovely compliment from Key, Ha, well, and a day off, was enough to get me to get my act together. Giant Days is back this week. I'm writing and recording this on Monday. Ooh, the past. On account of my inability to get anything done on a day when I have work, despite the fact I work part-time. John Allison is back with more university adventures, this time in full colour. The first page is up and it looks good. Sonic leg shaving is the sort of thing he'd have done for real back in the day, but the classic character of his work is still shining through, and he'll be at MCM selling the book. Hopefully it will be in his store soon so I can buy it. Read it at scarygaround.com/GD. I'm going to briefly talk about a couple of British comics today, starting with one that some of my friends have pointed me in the direction of, but I haven't read. However, the concept intrigued me, so let me mention Dreadfire. Dreadfire is created by Yeshua and Joel Wade, and tells the story of a young, brummy man who has been bullied by the criminals in his area all his life. Knowing the city needs a protector, and when he develops superpowers, he decides to train hard and become that protector. The artwork is rather reminiscent of our own, we can claim him right, George Beadham's Mighty Jambo, but it's the concept that really could make this comic special. Each major plot decision is made by the readers. The current poll is which martial arts style Dreadfire should learn, but it's suggested that this is going to go right to the decisions between good and evil, one path and another, which you might argue gets them out of writing, but I think offers a good way to connect with the fans. Imagine what might be happening in the big universes of the major publishers if there were direct fan input. I think this might actually dilute the impact of vocal fanboys, because it keeps the agenda setting in the hands of the writer, but gives a sense of ownership and involvement to the readers. I'll be watching this comic with interest. Now, Dreadfire might be claiming to be Birmingham's first superhero, but there's a super team that has their Boston cave, well, technically it's the Beehive, under Dudley Castle, and they are the Boston Heroes, for the Black Country, and beyond. It's a little known fact that I'm from the Black Country. In fact, I'm from Sandwell, the dumpiest part of it. Dudley is glamorous for me. I can't even do the accent anymore. Like, if you're home soft enough to come down here or going home, yow tea will all be spoilt. Which deviated from Black Country. I'm going to try that again. If you're home soft enough to come down here or going home, yow tea will all be spoilt. Yeah, well, what I can do is to follow the advice of Donato Esposito, the creator of Boston Heroes, and to try and reclaim my roots, and it's to read issue 1 of Boston Heroes. I actually have signed print copies of issue 1 to 3 of this comic, which I got in Birmingham. Boston Heroes follows 4 ordinary people, much as they deny it, from around Birmingham and the Black Country, who are given a variety of powers in order to fulfil the prophesied role of the superhero team that will defend the Midlands in the days before the Second Industrial Revolution. There's plenty of riffs here on the Batcave, and being very serious about superheroes and the prophecy, despite the inherent comedity of their accents. There's certainly a sort of all of this has happened before, all of this will happen again vibe from their mysterious people who have given them their powers. Issue 1 just deals with their origins before getting into a proper adventure in issue 2, which clarifies their powers and the way they work, and introduces a slightly toned-down version of the X-Men's Danger Room, using Ultimate Frisbee to teach lessons about superpowers, as well as the monstrous Godvilla, who features on the cover, along with a nice version of the Rotunda and Selfridges. The comic is written by Matthew Craig, whose other work as a drawther can be found at thematthewcraig.com, and the art is by Jack Davis, who does excellent work with the setting and with the sound effects. You can read this comic online at bostonheroes.com, which is part of iBoston.com, a project set up by Esposito to promote regional pride. It even has an English to Black Country translator. I've spoken briefly about this before, but I think one powerful thing that small press and webcomics can do is be regionally targeted, even if only at the country level, without that being a liability. I don't know how well the Excalibur and similar Brit-based series is compared in sales to the American incarnations, but I feel that this is one area where being outside the mainstream can really work. Do let me know if you know of any of the other examples, because I'd be fascinated to read them. So, go and vote on dreadfire.com, and go and read bostonheroes.com. And hopefully I'll be back soon on another even-numbered episode of the pod. And if you want to talk to me, try @TetrarchAngel on Twitter, or marvintheparanoid.deviantart.com, where you can find my poetry and short stories. Until next time, ta-ra a bit. Wow, I cannot believe I just did that. I mean, really, I'm just ashamed of myself.